Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I want to show y'all specifically today how we can um, do graphs of quadratic functions with transformations, identifying what the transformations are based on the rule or based on the equation or function. So we're gonna take a look at a few examples today. So let's look at this number one here. We're doing x squared plus 4. So I always like to start on the right side and work left. Now for this one, we only have one, what is it called? One transformation. So that plus 4 there on the end, remember that that is going to move our function upward. So we're going to have a little quadratic function right in here, right at plus 4. So it's just going to move the whole thing up 4. For the second problem, let's switch colors up a little bit here. For the second problem here, again, I'm going to start on the right side. So that minus 3 there on the end, that means to move it down 3. So we're going to be somewhere in here. And then we're going to move it right 1. Remember, minus 1 means to go to the right if it's in parentheses. So that would be like right in here. So if we go down 3 and right 1, then our vertex is going to be right about here. So we're going to have a little quadratic function right about there. And that's not the best job I can do, so let's try that again. Something like that. All right. So a little quadratic function that's moved down 3 and right 1. For number 3, we're going to have this plus 9 in parentheses, so that means that we're moving left 9, be over here somewhere, and then we are moving, okay, so we moved left 9, and then this minus sign right here, this minus sign means that we are going to be reflected, and since it's out front, it's going to be a reflection across the x-axis. So it's going to flip our parabola to where it's upside down. Okay, so it's not the best parabola, but there we go. At -9 and then flipped upside down. Y'all are gonna have to bear with me because I am writing with trying to draw with my mouse, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. So I'll have to get good, I guess. Okay, let's look at a few more. So with this one, -7 means that we're moving down 7, so that'll just be right about here and a parabola, right about there, okay? For number 5, we have down 6, so right about here, and then the 1/3 right here means that we are shrinking it vertically, so that means that it's going to be kind of squished or kind of shrunk downwards, or kind of like widened in a way. So it's going to look kind of like this. It's not a perfect image, but maybe you get what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to stretch or shrink it down to where it's not like a regular parabola. And then finally, number 6, this very last one, we have, don't get these confused, there's two transformations here. We have the 4 and the minus sign. 4 and the minus sign. So if we look at the 4 first, that is a stretch. So that's going to like stretch it vertically. And then also we're going, so if we draw just with the stretch first, it's going to look something like this. Okay. So kind of stretched upwards, kind of stretched out long ways. And then the minus sign means that it's going to be reflected. But since the minus sign is inside these parentheses, so since it's not on the outside out here, that means that we're going to reflect it on the y-axis, which in this case, this left side gets reflected over to the right, and this right side gets reflected over to the left. So really it kind of gets reflected over onto itself, and it's going to look exactly the same. The function's going to look exactly the same even though we reflected it. So anyway, all right, let's look at one more. Let's look at this number 7 down here. So consider this function, describe the transformation, and identify the vertex. So let's do that. The plus 7, that means to go up 7. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to write very well with a mouse. We're going to try. Okay, so up 7. The minus 5 in parentheses means to go right 5. Right. I'm not doing too bad here. You're going to have to give me points for trying. We're going right 5. The 10 means that we're going to stretch by a factor of 10. So I'm just going to say stretch. 10. And then the minus sign out front means that we're going to be reflected across the x-axis. Reflect across the x-axis. And one way to keep that straight is one of my students came up with this, and I guess you can use it. It's x on, if the minus sign is on the outside, it's x. And if the minus sign is on the inside, it's y. So if it's on the outside, then it's reflected across the x-axis. If it's on the inside, it's reflected across the y-axis. And the way they remember this is you want to keep your x on the outside. So relationally, don't let your x, come into your life again. Keep them on the outside. So relationship advice from Alders. So keep the x on the outside. Keep the minus sign on the outside. Or if the minus sign's on the outside, that means you're reflected in the x-axis. So this will be a reflect on the x-axis. All right. Reflect on the x-axis. And then it says to identify the vertex. The vertex is just the point where the graph kind of starts. So we know that it's going up 7, so our y is going to be plus 7, and then we know that our x is going to be positive 5 because we went to the right 5. So we're going to have it at 5, 7, but then it gets reflected in the y direction. So that means that our y coordinate is going to get reflected or flipped. So we'll have a negative 7 because it'll look like it actually went down 7 because it was up above, but then it gets reflected across that x-axis down below. So our vertex is going to be 5 in the right, 5 to the right, and then it's going to be down 7 because of the reflection across the x-axis. So it'll be 5, negative 7 would be where our vertex is. Another way you could do this is just take this function and type it into Desmos, and it'll graph it for you. And you can just see wherever that graph starts. You'll be able to see that it starts at that point, so you'll be able to check it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helps out with some of your problems that you're working on. But if you have any questions, just let me know. Put them in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And guys, I will see you next time. Y'all take it easy and peace out.